Hey, welcome back to Life Inner Show podcast. I'm Jason Wojcik, your host. We have Polish Peter on as a co-host. And in Life Inner Show, we help people live amazing lives, create amazing businesses that complement those lives. And today we're going to talk about something that everyone's been speaking about now. It's been a big topic for, I'd say, probably the last 2 or 3 years, man, which is some of the angles about AI that haven't been discussed yet, and some of the things that as business owners we need to give consideration to, and quite frankly, put some myths to rest as well.
That's a very good idea, Jason. I think you're doing a great job as an owner of this, well, owner, co-host of this podcast.
You could say it's an owner.
Yeah. But I say this because I think if anybody has been doing Claude or a ChatGPT or whatever AI, it's a lot of times that's the kind of answer that we get, right? That's a great idea, Peter. That is a brilliant. I like the way you're thinking and all that kind of stuff. So let's get into the conversation of AI because I think people are worried, I think, about how it's going to eliminate people and replace and all kinds of different things. And there is some truth to that. I agree with it. I think there will be some replacements of jobs, certain type of jobs. I think, if you really look at it, desk jobs are probably going to be the first ones to go, kind of a thing, because do I need a bookkeeper? Do I need an accountant? I can calculate the numbers using that, So I think some of the stuff is going to, go, but at the same time, I think it's going to not make things worse for us. I think at the end of the day, it's going to allow us to, there's going to be just a different way of living, I guess. You know what I mean?
Let's have some fun with this, man. So let's make some predictions here, and then come back and say 2 or 3 years and see if our predictions are right. What do you think we'll take turns going with this. What do you think some of the jobs that will be replaced are going to be? Some of the ones that are they're on their way out.
Well, first one, Jason Wojcik is going to go. I think that's the first one. Listen, you don't need a figurehead. I mean, that's, and even that, I mean, it's not that good looking one. I mean, no, on the serious side of things, I think the first ones are, like I said, desk jobs. I think it's going to be like bookkeeper, those kinds of things. Anything that has to do with spreadsheets, numbers, those kinds of things are going to go. What do you think?
Yeah, I think data analysis, data entry are definitely going to be on the way out because AI can do it way better. I think admin tasks, administrative stuff like record keeping, that will be gone. I do think the financial stuff people will let go of a little bit slower because there'll be a tendency to kind of not trust the AI quite yet. But I know, for instance, QuickBooks is implementing AI fairly heavily right now, and so eventually, I think a lot of that will, at least the data entry side of things and running reports, stuff like that, invoicing, a lot of that has already been taken over by automation anyway. I do think that a lot of legal advice will start to fall into the realm of AI. A lot of the specialty, like for instance, like when you think of like engineering, or architecture, can AI do those things even better, right? X-ray, technicians, you're someone who you're reading X-rays or you're reading mammograms, AI for sure. That's data.
Yeah, a lot of medical stuff I think is going to get
that's data analysis. Yep. Mm-hmm. I think it'll supplement the things that I do think will survive at least for the midterm are going to be things that you want a human involved in, or that robotics can't quite do yet because of like cost prohibitive. That's just cost prohibitive. So like, of course, blue collar jobs where you need someone to come out and fix your HVAC, or unclog your toilet or whatever it is like that. Like it's not going to be replaced by robotics anytime soon. But I also
Elon
think
Musk is working on it, man. He's got that Optimus, whatever that
and that
robot
stuff might
man.
come. Everyone might have their own at home robot that's gonna cook and clean and all that kind of stuff. I think we're a little ways off for that. And by the way, wealthy families will have that stuff way before us. And the prices will come down. Like think about dude the 48-inch TV. Yeah, it was like $3,000 back in the day. Now you can get it for $300 at Walmart. And so like the cost will come down. But I do think that anything that you need a human for, meaning like this is where like the technology of the that's available has to meet with the headspace and the perspective and the mindset of the consumer. Meaning, someone may not, let's say you could have an AI doctor tell you exactly what's wrong. I don't think a lot of people are going to have confidence in that yet because they still want the empathetic touch and the relatability, the bedside manner of a physician. And so maybe that's going to be an AI adjunct business where or approach rather than that the physician is using AI, but it's as a tool to help them become a better doctor and be a better doctor.
Well,
Nurses.
unless that AI gives me better results to heal me quicker, faster,
Yeah, but
more
that's
efficient,
I
whatever
would
it might be.
disagree a little with that, man, because like there's such a strong effect of bedside manner on outcomes due to things like placebo effect and like the relationship you have with your physician. So anything with relationships, like I don't think people right now are going to go to a therapist. Well, some people are. Some people are going to AI as a
Mhm.
replacement for therapy or counseling. But many times, like anything that requires someone to listen to you and empathize with you, you're a you're a even an attorney. Like an attorney, you kind of want someone there who's done this before and who can relate to you and listen to you and make you feel heard and validated. And AI is doing this, but it just doesn't feel the same because we know this. Like right, like every time you said this earlier, you put in the Chat GPT an idea. That's a great idea. Like that's it just confirms everything you say, and like that felt good the first couple times, and then you just realize you're just placating me, and like you're not
Yeah.
you just say it to everybody. So
Yeah, I know.
you know, and so
Mhm.
I think in the near term, I think that. What do you think? What else? What else did I miss?
Well, I think so. I mean, here's the thing. I think what's going to end up happening is the adaptability. I think the more you resist the shift, because I think there is a shift coming. I mean, it's happening
Oh,
right
it's
now.
already
Kind of, I
here.
think AI
Yeah.
for the last couple years, um, and then robotics are coming into the play. Elon Musk is putting all these different robots together. Even different countries, you look around, they're putting these different robots together. Somebody's going to do your laundry now, robot, or wash the dishes, or whatever it might be, or iron your shirt, kind of stuff, right? So some of the household things are probably going to be starting to be eliminated from you doing it yourself, kind of a thing, right? So that quote unquote makes you more efficient, right? But now if you are not allowing yourself to adapt, I think what ends up happening is you're going to be kind of quote unquote left behind. So I think adaptability is going to be important because think about it this way. If you are a bookkeeper right now and you're looking from that perspective and the AI is taking over, you're going to have to adapt to the shift and see how I can, whether I'm doing something else or use that AI into my business. So makes my business more impactful for the people, right? So I think there's adaptability needs to be happening for people. The other thing is I think what is going to happen more so than before is people will want to be together more often, kind of a thing. Because I think we as human beings, there is this internal drive to be in a community, right? We're not meant to be by ourselves. We're not meant to be isolated. And I think what's happened sometimes with technology, it's isolating. Like look at like social media, right? Or the phones. We are the most technologically advanced um, whatever society ever. I mean, I can call in a matter of a second someone in China or Poland, what I mean, and speak to them FaceTime, face to face. And we're so connected with everybody, but at the same time, we're so disconnected, what I mean, because we're on the phone or whatever it might be. So I think what's going to end up happening is that gathering, bringing people together, I think it's going to matter more. So some of the things that AI is going to do, it's going to expose the weaknesses and that quote unquote system, but at the same time, it's going to reinforce what's really important for people, meaning connection, meaning getting together, talking together, those kinds of things. I think that's going to get
Well, that
reinforced more.
right, like I said before, relationships, right? Like so, anything
Yeah.
you need, yeah, relationships, connections, and of course, like anything, yeah, coding. And here's another thing: you mentioned adaptability, right? It makes zero difference whether or not this is good or bad, or meaning it is what it is. Dude, not too long ago, I remember seeing plenty of marketing and ads for like, hey, future proof your kid and teach them how to code. Well, guess what? That didn't work out. And so, those businesses that they're teaching coding and coders, writers,
That's going
um,
away. Yeah.
yeah. And it's not good or bad. It just is what it is. And so, like, listen, you can be kind of angry and feel misled, dude. Listen, I spent 15 years in school, so I can relate to this. Like, I am
You
not
should
coming
feel
from a
bad.
pedestal here. Yeah. And so you just got to pivot. You just got to, it is what it is. It's
Mhm.
a new reality. And so just be okay with that. And I do think that at some point, man, there could be some level of connection that people feel with technology. I think of like, Iron Man and Jarvis, right? Like that's his computer assistant that, he has a little bit of a relationship with. And I'm not saying it's ever going to replace a human necessarily, but like you might feel, I mean, dude, I mean, of course we're talking about movies here, but like, movies oftentimes predict, future events in real life as well. And so, there could be a point where that happens, but we're a little bit of ways off from that evolutionarily speaking. So like I wouldn't really worry about that too much. Um, and so it's not doom and gloom. It's just like how can I utilize AI in my business to help me do what I'm doing? And by the way, if you are in a field that is being, let's say for instance, let's say you're a writer, okay, and you're on your way out. Well, how could I utilize AI to help me? Well, what if I changed and pivoted my services so that I was going to teach other people how to create their voice brand kit or their voice training guide for AI so that you can have AI write exactly the way you speak and the way you write so that it doesn't sound like
Mhm.
generalized AI garbage. Like that could be a pivot, right? And so there's still ways to pivot here, even if you're in an industry that is being compromised. And there's plenty again that are not going to be compromised as well.
Yeah.
We're still gonna buy pets from someone or get them from the shelter. So we're still gonna have people mow our lawn. We're still gonna have people. We're still gonna need a place to go work out and get buy food from, right? All this stuff.
You're gonna have a robot mowing your lawn. I think it is,
Well, I
that's
mean,
really
dude, I wouldn't
common.
be opposed to it. Like
Yeah.
I pay a guy now, but like I wouldn't be opposed to a robot doing it either.
So, well, listen, I think it's an important discussion because I think people are worried. And when you start looking from the perspective of adaptability, you get creative. You don't sit in the place of like doom and gloom. You don't sit in the place of like something is out of my control and I'm like, at the mercy of what's going to happen. When you start looking adaptability, you start, okay, so how can I adapt? How can I grow? How can I take this as an advantage? How can I use it to my advantage? How can I benefit others from it? How can I create something that is going to be new? Because notice there is a lot of people right now who take AI and use it to benefit the society, right? Um, Companies now, I mean, I've heard recently that companies right now, they're paying a lot of money to people who they can hire to go and run AI for their businesses, whether it's building agents, whether it's growing that business from that perspective. You know what I mean? If you look at ChatGPT, I mean, OpenAI, the company OpenAI, and Anthropic, which is Claude, the people that they're hired, they're paying them crap load of money to be able to do this stuff because it's so, important. It's like, and there's competition that's happening between the countries, so they constantly have to go. But what ends up happening when you start looking from the adaptability, I think you shift your focus, shift your thinking, and you start looking from, okay, how can I benefit myself? How can I benefit society? How can I help others? And it allows you to be the one who goes and uses the technology for the good. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And the
Well,
more
dude,
people I think they use it for the good, the better.
I mean, think of like, and there will be a lot of benefits to this. It's not all bad. Like, so for instance, drug companies now that have to, I mean, you had to employ you had a tremendous budget for R&D. Now AI can start to develop, drugs for us and do the research in advance and save, hundreds of millions of dollars on this. I've heard of AI models solving math problems that were previously unsolvable by humans. And like, so there's a lot of benefit for this. I mean, I constantly like, I spent 15 years in school. reading scientific articles and learning how to think and designing experiments. Dude, AI could do all of that stuff, like, and do it really, really well. Now, yes, you need to know how to use the AI to get the results you're looking for. We kind of talked about that a little bit, but it's an incredible tool. Now, with that, also, we should mention a caution, which is it can become a huge distraction.
Hmm.
Like, you
Yeah.
can spend all your time in AI. And while I certainly acknowledge a startup phase in AI where you need to develop your familiarity with tools and see what's out there, this can very quickly take your eye off the ball of what's most important in business. And so you got to be really careful for that. And at the end of the day, when I think about it, there's two metrics that I'm looking at in terms of my success level with AI. Is this making me more money or is this saving me time? Right? Those are the two big ones for me. And if it's not, then maybe I need to step back and reevaluate my approach to AI and how I'm utilizing it in my business.
Exactly. Yeah. So you have to, like I said, we keep talking about the vision on this podcast constantly because this document is so important because it puts those guardrails for yourself so stuff like this doesn't become a distraction. Like I have to watch it for myself because I love that kind of stuff and it can go down. I could create 30,000 different things with AI kind of thing, right? So you have to be very careful not to get distracted. So looking from that perspective is like you look at your vision, where am I going after? What's the thing that I am building right now? And can AI, you know, optimize it or help it or grow it or whatever, right? Not something completely different. Like all of a sudden I came up with an idea, then I'm going to help, I don't know, uh, a plumber have this different gadgets or AI thing to be able to go and figure out the plumbing situations because that's not my forte. I'm just focusing on my business. Focus on the business. How can that support me in my business? Kind of a
So
thing.
let's say you have a plumbing company. Let's use this example, just jump off what you just talked about. So like how could you use AI in your business? Well, you could let's say upload all of your onboarding documentation, all of the training that you've done and have AI create an onboarding process for all of your new plumbers. You could have video trainings, you could have AI do things like your marketing, obviously, like all mark AI is fantastic at helping you improve your consistency with marketing. You could have AI for internal processes. You could use AI for managing operational things. You can use AI for I have a buddy who actually I have a buddy who is using AI right now to locate. So he's evolved past retail. Well, I shouldn't say he's evolved past. He's added a new stream of commercial customers instead of just retail, and he's used AI to do this. And so he's basically used AI to do searches and scrape the internet for all these commercial property management companies that he now can get in touch with. He has AI inventory all of his emails to them, automate the workflows. He has AI kind of keep track of what those conversations look like and take notes on them, as well as help him with scripts for approaching these people. And it's been really successful for him. And so there's lots of so many awesome applications. But at the
Yeah.
end of the day, you still gotta. It's still not. It's a tool. It's a tool.
Yeah. Look in your business, like what's the 80% that if that was taken care of, now I'm spending more time on, that would, allow me to grow the business and start looking from that perspective to start putting it into AI.
So I would look at a very similar to that, man. I say like, what's the 80% that's driving your 20%, and
Right.
what's the 20% that's driving your 80%, right? And so
Right.
like that's the filter for using this. So of course, this isn't an in-depth discussion of AI, and frankly, that conversation evolves day by day. One
Oh,
thing I
yeah.
would recommend is there are a lot of free AI email newsletters that come out daily. I'd encourage you to subscribe to a couple of those, just so you're aware and in the loop of what's going on. And there's of course people on YouTube that are setting up and they're sharing examples of what they're doing in AI. You can get examples there. And also, like, I should say this, like, ask the tool itself. Tell AI about your business and say, hey, how can I most effectively utilize you to improve whatever it is that you're looking to improve: operations, sales, marketing, personnel, like whatever it is. Like, and so the AI will give you those answers. Peter, you yourself just did this awesome, super cool thing with your marketing stuff with AI. And I'm like, dude, how did you do that? You're like, I asked AI. I'm like, what? And it was
Right.
awesome. But it was super cool. So like those applications are out there. And by the way, we'd love to know how you are utilizing AI. So come on over to our Facebook group. If you just search Life in Air, you will find us, and just and share what you're doing in AI, and join the conversation on how we can utilize it to improve our lives and our businesses. Hope you guys got something out of this. Hope it was valuable for you. As always, please share this podcast. It's how we reach and change the lives of more busy entrepreneurs, real estate investors, and business owners. And we will see you next week, everyone. Take care.